Hello BFC, I'm Wicked, I'm here with KRL Day, and we're here to commentate a match between Unfinished Business and LSJ, Last Standing Jedi. So apologies for the late start. I didn't get a little bit of a warning, and I'm going to mute that accidentally. Anyway, I didn't get a warning as to when they were starting, and the stream took about an hour to start up, so apologies for the delay. But we're here. And we're on the first pod, so it doesn't really matter, but first pod going over to LSJ. It's also a 3-on-3. Go ahead. Curl Day. Take it away.
Yep. So, LSJ is up 1-0. This is the second pod that just came down. We just see Pulse Cannon just come out. Looks like Dark Knight's going to be looking for that first claim, but there's a Deoxys on the pod. So it's going to be a little hard for him to keep his health up. He does get a partner spawn of Cookie though. His teammate with the Bowcaster going in, taking out Acerola. Mike taking out Dark Knight, however, and it seems like Blake is going to go for that claim, but he does get killed from Nightwing up on top of the tarps. Dark Knight, a little bit of a situation here, trying to get a part spawn. Instead goes for the claim. Looks like Mike's going to get that kill. And Cookie trying to run for his life. Will get killed from Nightwing as well. Nightwing holding a good defensive position up there. And looks like LSJ is going to get that claim. Blake doing a little bit of an early push, trying to get in there, possibly for a partner spawn. Is stuck there in the trenches right now. Looks like Dark Knight's going to come from the other side. And Blake will get a nice bowcaster kill on Acerola, which will give Unfinished Business that claim.
Yeah, Nightwing's just holding up this position here. He was there for about probably a minute or two, and it wasn't really helping the team too much, which allowed Unfinished Business just to sneak in there.
Yep, he was doing a very good job at doing that.
Yeah, so just really good defense here from Unfinished Business, but actually,
an orbital strike come in.
Bowcaster goes up, and as soon as he jumped up, that was Mike's opportunity to go in, and he just made that guy miss.
Yep, LSJ currently in control of the pod. Unfinished Business just getting their spawns in. Looking for an entrance on this.
Nightwing with a nice double.
Yeah. Looks like Dark Knight's going to go in there for the claim. Will get it, though. Cookie Monster in the back trying to fight him off, but will get killed. That's going to not allow Dark Knight to get that partner spawn, so they will be spawning back at the normal spawn point. LSJ still in control of this pod. Looks like Mike is down on the pod itself. Blake's going to jump in with that bowcaster. I don't think he gets the kill. Mike with a nice double from a grenade. Mike still on the pod. Looks like Cookie Monster is going to be getting shot from both sides, but he will take out Mike. There's a Deoxys on the pod, holding them back a little bit. And we'll get the partner spawn on Dark Knight, and they are going to go in for the claim. Grenade goes in, will not get the kill on Dark Knight, however. Yeah. So they are going to be able to get that claim.
I think that was the second time Cookie Monster's own Deoxys kind of cost him. The first time he actually died to it, that time he had to hold off. Luckily it helped Unfinished Business was still able to get the pod that time.
Yep. Now we did see all the LSJ members on top of the crawler, but they're starting to jump off a little bit. They do have one member. Looks like Nightwing's going to get Bowcaster from Blake as he goes in for the claim, but Mike's going to be there to steal that away. So that will be a reset on that pod. And there is a second pod down as well, so we're going to have to see if either one of these teams goes for that a little bit prematurely. Looks like Cookie's going to take out Mike.
If any team goes for that, I want it to be LSJ. Unfinished Business is not in a position right now to go for that second pod, so I think it's actually going to be a misplay if they touch it, and Blake does. Right as I say that.
That's going to start that 50-second timer, while in the meantime on the first pod, LSJ is getting really close to getting this pod. Looks like Blake's going to go in for the claim on this one as well. Does get low on health, but will get the claim. We do have another LSJ member.
LSJ just way out of position on that pod. There should be so much defense on this pod, on the old pod, especially when the newer one gets touched by the other team. Just a really big misplay there from LSJ to give up that pod so easily.
Yeah, we see Acerola on top of the crawler, and he's going to get some partner spawns with Mike. I think Acerola should probably be on the ground more with that partner spawn capability, but he's doing.
Well, he just needs to get a touch. He's not going to. And now LSJ's in a lot of trouble, but they will get the touch on the newer pod, or the remaining pod.
Yep. It is a 1-1 score between Unfinished Business and LSJ, and LSJ is going to be in control of this pod.
Yeah.
great thermal imploder coming from Dark Knight as he does sacrifice himself to get a double, and Acerola will hold off Blake, giving his team same advantage on this pod. This pod is already about 75% capped.
Yeah.
So Unfinished Business is going to have to make a big push here. They're going to want to get this. One of them does go up on top
Mike
of the crawler.
Fullerton's going to need to win a one-on-one. Or two-on-one here.
Dark Knight, low at health, isn't going to get the pod. That was good defense from Nightwing, able to hold him back.
Yeah, good recovery there from LSJ, giving up one pod really quick and really easily. Just to be able to get that second one almost
Blake
uncontested.
getting a triple kill, I think, with that orbital. That's going to reset their spawn point. So it looks like Unfinished Business is going to get the first clam on this. This pod is up in the mountains. This is probably the best pod for crawler control, as it is just pretty much right next to it. LSJ is going to be pushing up from the opposite side of the crawler, so they are going to be pushing uphill. It's a little bit of a disadvantage for them, so we're going to see if they can get some entrance kills on this. Unfinished Business does have a teammate up on the crawler. And it looks like Dark Knight's going to push in a 1v1 situation against Acerola. Acerola is going to be able to win that. He has that low health, so he's going to back off. Mike looking for a push underneath the crawler. He's going to jetpack up there. Blake is there. Won't see him. We'll get him, though. Mike almost went in there for that ninja cap. That pod is at 75%. Cookie suppressing fire.
Cookie had control of this crawler the entire time, and that pod is 100% reliant on whoever has crawler control. So not surprised there that Unfinished Business was able to take that pod.
Yeah, we did see Mike go in from just right below the crawler to go jetpack on that pod. I think if he would have had a teammate to clear out the top of the crawler, he probably could have gone that as well.
Mike's gonna maybe pick up possibly 2 kills here. He does, and his, I believe, Nightwing was going.
Nightwing's gonna die to the doxes from Cookie. Mike's gonna get this cap.
And
looks like it's gonna be a 1v1 situation between Mike and Blake.
Mike
Blake's teammate just came in. He will go down to Mike. Cookie trying to get that trade kill.
Down too.
Thermal imploder does go off.
Double kill from
Mike's
Mike.
gonna get that kill on Cookie.
Might need to get a triple here. He will.
Dark Knight tries to go into avenge his brothers. Now Blake comes in with a bowcaster. You get
4
that entry
kills
kill
for Mike. Now Mike just stuck in a one-on-one with Cookie Monster. Where's the rest of LSJ on this?
Cookie was able to get that jump and is going to get this pod at the last second as LSJ's last teammate was on top of the crawler.
I really don't know what LSJ is doing right now. Just get one more person on that pod.
With Dark Knight.
If you get one more person on that pod, you have it secured. Easy. I really don't know what's going on in the mind of LSJ right now.
Cookie backing up a little too far, but Dark Knight is still there in that little hallway. Nightwing's going to try to get that kill on Dark Knight. Will be able to. He does go about to 50 health, though. His teammate Mike is going to come and give him that support. Cookie gets stuck between a rock and a hard place. Looks like LSJ is going to be able to get this claim. The score is tied 2-2.
They got the claim. There's just not enough pod focus from LSJ. You have Mike focusing the pod, but the other 2 members of LSJ are just kind of like not really controlling the pod as much as they should, and that cost him twice on 2 separate pods.
Yeah, we see Acerola go down the mountain to go hold him on the spawn, but in the meantime, Blank was able to come up with a bowcaster, take out, I think that was Mike, and he's going to get that claim, and now he takes out Mike. He's able to take out his other teammate before then, but looks like Unfinished Business is going to get this claim again. This is just going back and forth from what it seems. We might see another second pod drop.
Well, if they do,
pushing up in the mid lane.
If they do, that seems to favor Unfinished Business. LSJ just has no, like they have no strategy coming into this. Like, granted, Mike's going to get it. Yeah, Mike's going to get that touch, but just it seems like it's the Mike show, and the rest of LSJ is kind of like straggling for those guys.
Mike will get that partner spawn as well as Blake goes for the bowcaster kill. We'll miss him though. He has 2 enemies behind him. Isn't able to turn around. Cookie and Dark Knight are in the hallway, keeping it secured, doing their best they can. Cookie's going to push out with his jetpack, trying to get the kill on Acerola as he does run away with about 1 health. I think he's going to get away. This might give him the partner spawn.
He's going to get away, but the problem is he jetpacked away from the pod, so now there's no chance LSJ is claiming that.
Yep, Unfinished Business is going to get this claim. They're up 3-2. Second pod coming in. Looks like this one's going to go down furthest away from the crawler. And that's where all 3 LSJ members are currently. Unfinished Business looking like they're going to get the first cap on this.
Yeah, first touch doesn't mean nearly as much, though. I mean, unless it's one of the iPod where there's like 2 ways in, first touch really doesn't mean too much. LSJ is probably going to get a touch here almost for free. They should.
I think Ace Rolla just jumped off the crawler and killed himself. Looks like Ace Rolla is going to get the partner spawn though, and going to go for the cap as unfinished business does get cleared out. They're already starting to jump back in though as an orbital does go down. Cookie Monster going in for the claim. Looks like they're going to be able to get that. LSJ backing off a little bit. Like we've been seeing, Ace Rolla is going to be able to get that kill, but Dark Knight's going to get the trade. They will still hold this pod.
There should be
area.
3 members. This is a 2-on-2 for LSJ. If they identify this and pick up just maybe a kill or 2, they might be able to get a touch here. Acer going to get a kill.
Might get in a trade as Ace
down
Rolla's
to a
going to take out Dark Knight.
but
Blake
Acer...
not... Ace Rolla coming up behind Blake. He's going to get that cap. They do have an infantry turret.
It should just get shot down. They should just shoot it.
Yep.
Like that might actually turn into a problem on defense. Luckily for them, it actually explodes there.
It's going to go down as well. We see Ace Rolla with the pulse cannon. It's going to miss that shot as he jetpacks away. Cookie pushing through different lanes. Dark Knight's going to get shut down from Ace Rolla. This pod is at 75% capped. Cookie Monster's going to have to push in here. He will get a double. Goes down from Nightwing, comes down the Nightwing, and yeah, Nightwing's going to be able to push in there.
That play from Cookie is what got them that touch there. That allowed the one-on-one with the last member of Unfinished Business, and he was able to get the angle that they couldn't hit him from. So Cookie Monster is the MVP there, but of course a nice touch from the team.
So Unfinished Business in control of the pods, or off percent cap. I think LSJ is only going to have one big push on this. It looks like Nightwing's going to be the one to start that as he does take out Nightwing. Cookie Monster coming in to finish him off, does miss the melee. And Nightwing's going to be able to melee him as Nightwing does get the clutch cap.
That was a 1v1 for the pod, and Nightwing was able to get the win there, or get the win in that 1v1 to be able to get the touch.
Nope, I think Nightwing has the response. So he's going to wait for both of his teammates to come over here. 2 Unfinished Business. We're actually going to put in from the bottom right of the map. They are being suppressed from Ace Rolla on top of the crawler. I think Ace Rolla is a little bit out of position here, especially if his team does go down. He's not going to be able to be the third member to defend.
Yeah,
but it seems like they're going to have it anyways.
The crawler there isn't the best pod or the best place to defend this pod. It's good on almost every single one, but this is probably the least useful. Granted, he was still able to get the... I mean, it still worked out for his team, but he's also not going to pick up one of those power-ups, which is huge, especially in a 3-on-3.
Yep. Right now, score is tied 3-3. This looks like to be the last pod as we are closing in on 40 seconds left in the match. Blake taking out Mike, and Cookie Monster taking out Nightwing. This is going to give Unfinished Business the ability to cap, but Nightwing, or Ace Rolla coming out, throwing that grenade, or somehow he got a kill. Blake's going to be able to get that cap for Unfinished Business.
Yeah. So Mike's gonna jump off the crawler now. He should be able to get the claim here. I don't think there's anyone available from Unfinished to stop him. Acer did a good job on the crawler there, distracting a couple members, but I mean, obviously...
Again, a good kill on Cookie Monster. Dark Knight coming up from underneath the ship. All 3 Unfinished Business members on the pod as LSJ makes their push.
Yeah, Mike kind of...
A bunch of trades going off here, but looks like Cookie Monster's going to be the lone survivor.
Yeah, Mike kind of wasted his smart rocket a little bit earlier on a player who he probably could have killed with the DH, and then he could have used that smart rocket for another kill to secure, one he needs. And now LSJ's in a lot of trouble. Mike's low health, but can he get on?
He's going to go down, but Cookie Monster coming in for the clutch, taking out Nightwing and Ace Rolla. Mike's going to get that cap, though, resetting the pod. Cookie Monster finally getting the triple kill on Mike.
Yeah,
going to go in and reset that pod.
Mike had regenerated HP right as the Deoxys went off. If that Deoxys went off any sooner, this was map 1 over to Unfinished. But great play there from Mike just to be able to have the regeneration start to keep this alive.
We saw LSJ make a little bit of a push coming in from behind their crawler, but Dark Knight was able to get that flank and they were able to hold him off. So it looks like this pod already 80% capped. It's going to go over to Unfinished Business unless Mike can come in and get the clutch cap, but he won't get shut down from Dark Knight. And looks like the pod's going to go over to Unfinished Business. LSJ just a little bit too late on that last push. Unfinished Business winning 4-3 on the first map.
Yeah, so LSJ had a great opportunity to win this game. I feel like LSJ right now is the better team in terms of capability to win. I think they just made a couple misplays. There was a misplay, I believe, on the second pod where there was just no one on defense. And when the member of Unfinished Business, Blake, went to go get that new pod to get the 50-second touch, all of LSJ was off the older pod. When just playing a little bit more near pod defense, could have easily had that pod. There was also the situation where Mike picks up 4 kills in a 3 versus 4. He gets 4 kills in a row. And no one from his team is there to back him up when he goes down, and they lose that pod. If they just...
Yeah, we definitely saw a good amount of like clutch kills coming out from a couple of the members from LSJ. I think just the biggest thing was they weren't able to... They always had some team member a little bit too far away from the pod,
Exactly.
and that's just how they suffered. Because Unfinished Business was able to get those clutch caps on that, so not having that team member there, and especially if that was a team spawn, you know, it's just you're holding back your team being that far away. You're gonna have to reset your position.
I mean, it's okay to have one person off the pod, but whenever the pod gets within the final couple seconds, you need someone there just to make sure, or you need more than one angle covered. The 2 members on the crawler for LSJ meant that there was the one angle, the 180 side from the crawler. That side just had no one firing at them. And when Mike went down, there was no one there to adapt, and they just kept losing pods because they weren't positioned correctly, or they weren't prioritizing what they needed to prioritize correctly. So LSJ, I feel, has the ability to... I'm going to go out on a limb and say that this is going to go to a map 3. If LSJ, and I'm hoping that LSJ gets their stuff together to make that go to a map 3. Though Unfinished Business still playing perfectly well. You saw Cookie Monster, he picked up double kills, triple kills throughout this entire game, and him and Blake being the objective player, it seems, for Unfinished Business. Still a very good team on their own. I just want to see LSJ make the changes they need and watch this go to a game 3.
Yep. Both teams had members that were able to get double and triple kills and hold it off for their team. Blake was doing a great job with that bowcaster, especially with entries, and that's what he was mainly using it for. Both teams, I think, are kind of pushing themselves to the limits, because that was a really close match right there. We couldn't even get to a 5th pod because it was just going back and forth. We even got to the point where a 2nd pod was dropped. I think in that match, LSJ was really trying to use that crawler to their advantage, and Unfinished Business wasn't really punishing them, because we saw throughout the whole match LSJ basically had crawler control. And so I think LSJ kind of just got a little unlucky, but they definitely could have adapted, because early game, most of the pods came in around the crawler, and the crawler had really good advantage points looking down on the pods. But as we saw later, we got the pod that spawns farthest away. We got one that's on the mountain, the farthest side. It's a little closed off. So LSJ really tried making that work, but the pods just weren't on their side in their favor, and I think they failed a little bit to adapt to that, and they didn't really give that much of effort as like staying on the pod or making their push towards it, getting the partner spawns. So I think that's just what really killed them on that.
So something else to note as well is that a couple of the other LSJ members, Mike actually held his own on kills. He went like 28-30, something around there. But the other members of LSJ were getting the kills in the 1v1s surprisingly often. And we're going to a map, Goes on Badlands is the next map up. And interestingly enough for them, in a 3v4, I believe it's going to be a 3v4. One person's not going to get a spawn, and if LSJ can keep getting those kills, they can force long spawns, and long spawns on bigger maps like Goazon or Raider Camp are really bad, because you have one chance at it. So we'll see maybe if LSJ can pick up the kills. Now's the time to be able to get the kills, as opposed to last game where it's more pod focused.
And so last match, you definitely had that crawler, which was able to give them a good vantage point on everything. Going into Goes on Badlands, we're gonna have, I believe it's with the walker in the middle, if I don't have my maps mixed up.
No.
So we're gonna have to see if
I was gonna say the walker in the middle with that upper level. That is a huge vantage point for teams to be able to shoot from. So that's kind of like the that's kind of like the crawler of Goazon, but it's not quite as effective. So we'll see. Again, we'll just see what happens going in.
Yeah, I would expect, as LSJ was trying to use their map, the map to their advantage, see if they're going to do that as well. But on this map, there's only about 3 pods you can really, use that walker to your advantage, because you have the 3 middle pods, and then the rest of them either spawn on the cave or they spawn on the cliffside that are just completely closed off. Now there is one pod that does spawn directly on top of the walker, so that's going to be a fun one to watch. But we're going to see if LSJ is going to fight over that, keep control of that, try to use it to their advantage, and see if they're hoping to get the pods to work in their favor in this one. And spawns are going to play much more an effect on this. I think they're going to be longer spawns compared to last map, because we do have the spawn over at the Imperial ship and to the tents, and there's the long mid lane in the middle. So if the teams are able to hold each other off and just keep them back, they're going to have, I think they'll have a good time just holding it. There's only going to be so many ways they can come in from, especially on the side pods, because there's always going to be about 2 or 3 hallways, and they're going to be really tight. So we're going to see what star cards they're going to use, if they're going to use any special ones for these, like some certain grenades or anything, maybe a thermal imploder, who knows? Yeah. Or not a thermal imploder, a sonic imploder.
So I'm going to cut in real fast, and it seems as if we're actually we might be upgrading to a 4-on-4. So we'll see how many people actually get in the lobby. But there is a possibility that the 4-on-4 upgrade is a go. And it's on, LSJ is actually picking up the 4th player. And it's, again, we'll see what happens, but there could be a roster change coming out of LSJ. So we'll have to see what happens. Again, some different speculation leading into map 2. But I just think there's a couple small things LSJ has to do, and they make this a game 3, as mentioned before.
Have to see if Cookie or Mike gets promoted. I don't think I have Cookie Monster on the friends list.
Yeah, or if I get promoted, that might help. I'm assuming Mike's going to get promoted since he's in control of LSJ.
Oh, I do have Cookie on my friends list. So, also, another quick thing to throw in there. We did see Blake using the bowcaster and for unfinished business. And for LSJ, I think we saw, it was either Nightwing or Acerola using the pulse cannon. And so that was on one of the bigger maps, so we're going into another bigger map, if not bigger. So we're going to have to see if they're going to change it up, or are they going to keep the same people with the same cards.
I noticed LSJ was running the pulse cannon last map, and I didn't notice much effectiveness from that at all. I'd like to see Acer on the bowcaster again if I'm LSJ, but that would be my recommendation, though. I didn't notice much of the pulse cannon coming out from Acerola last map, personally. I actually noticed he missed the shot on the pod where Mike got the quadra kill. He actually missed his pulse cannon, and that allowed them to touch it. So that's one example. Oh, we are actually going into a 4-on-4. Looks like Broken Acorn's actually going to play for unfinished business, so we haven't seen much of him, but...
I still haven't gotten invited. This is bad.
Oh my god. Alright, well, I was told...
on the stream.
I was told map 2 was goes on. Map 3 was supposed to be Dynasty Exchange. We'll see if they leave or not. I believe this actually is Unfinished Business pick. So I guess this is what they preferred over goes on. Okay. Alright, well, I'll just spend 10 minutes talking about goes on Badlands for them to change the map order.
So we're gonna need 10 minutes to talk about this map. Just kidding.
Alright.
Everyone knows this map.
Alright, so it looks like LSJ is on Empire, and, or sorry, Unfinished Business is on Empire, and they're going to get first touch. Oh, a nice nade from Faptos up on top. Alright.
What a shame.
Yeah. Alright. So LSJ with good control to start. They're going to clear all 4 out and be able to get the pod themselves. Alright, Cookie Monster and Blake both jumping off the crawler. Blake's going to get a touch real quick and be able to escape. Mike Fullerton's going to take him down and claim the pod for himself. Cookie Monster in the back, as well as a couple members of Unfinished Business going to contest this, and looks like the 3 of them are going to take down Mike Fullerton, and not enough damage coming out on the side of LSJ. Unfinished Business with another touch. You didn't, oh, shit. Alright, so Curl Day didn't get invited to this match, that's why you weren't commentating it.
I'll be here for moral support, don't worry.
Alright, well I'm here and you can watch the stream to talk about things that happened 15 seconds ago. Alright, I'll just pick up on color commentary again. All good. Mike Fullerton able to get the touch there, as well as the rest of LSJ able to clean off Unfinished Business, though Unfinished Business does get the close spawn back in their original spawn. Just Faptos and Broken Acorn contesting off to the side, but really LSJ with good control on this pod right now. Faptos actually going to win a fight underneath the center, and the attack from Unfinished Business not enough to get there. LSJ gets the first pod, and just LSJ with really nice defense there. They never really let up on that pod, and their gunfight, their gun skill is actually outclassing Unfinished Business right now. Also LSJ again with the first touch. Alright, so LSJ again in good control of the second pod here by the generators. A couple members up from LSJ on the crawler. They're actually going to jump down and save that pod. Good play there from LSJ to keep that alive. Nightwing off to the side. Broken Wing going to be his target, and he retreats to fight Nightwing in the back. Acer focused on the front. Cookie Monster and Acer in a 1v1. Acer picks up that win, and now it's going to be a couple members of Unfinished Business going for the pod. 3 members jump on. Mike's going to take down 2, and Fapto's going to take down the 3rd. Now a 2v1 here. Unfinished Business turns into a 3-on-2. Not going to pick up that second pod. That's 2-0 over to LSJ. Good double there from Mike to be able to get that those 2 kills off the pod, and then good positioning as well for Faptos to be able to come in and pick up that 3rd kill. Broken Acorn is going to pick up the first pod for Unfinished Business. 50-second touch though, so plenty of time.
It seems like if LSJ can keep this up, we might see a map 3.
Yeah, LSJ's 4v4 is looking much stronger than Unfinished Business's 4v4 right now. Mike Fullerton going to get another touch. Mike versus Broken Acorn in a one-on-one. Mike's going to take him down. Now a two-on-one. Cookie Monster versus Faptos and Acer in the back. He is going to actually start to regenerate. Acer and Faptos not able to hit Cookie Monster. Now Nightwing is... No one's noticing Cookie Monster right near pod. Finally, Nightwing takes him down. But Broken Acorn and a couple other members now... Unfinished Business with a nice push here. But Faptos going to stop that as well as Acer. This is a 2-on-2 situation. Now a 1-on-2. Acer with a nice bowcaster. Nightwing's gonna stop the touch from the backside of the map, and this might be the third pot over. A really clutch kill there from Nightwing to stop the activation and get the 3-0 lead over to LSJ. So power-ups, I believe Unfinished Business picks up a couple, but one of them does go over to LSJ at the very least. Couple members of LSJ trolling off to the side while Nightwing and Mike are off to the back. A little bit of a misplay there from LSJ to have two partners both go down together. So now it's just now it's currently a 2 versus 4 for Unfinished Business, and LSJ actually because of the map size going to be able to get close enough to defend, kind of. Just again, a positioning error from a couple members of LSJ, and Unfinished Business able to sneak in there. Alright. So Nightwing going to go on top of the ship and shoot down at Blake. He's going to kill Blake, and Acer's going to pick up another kill. All 4 members of Unfinished Business go down. All 4 of them get the longest spawn possible, though on this map spawns aren't that big. Or that big of a deal, but with only 2 seconds left, no members of Unfinished Business are going to get there. This is a 4-0 lead over to LSJ. Momentum's really on their side right now. Two versus 2 on top of the ship. Acer's going to pick up 1, doesn't notice the second. But now a 2-on-2 or 2-on-1. Acer's going to retreat, very low HP, get away. Now the focus is on Nightwing and Mike on pod. Broken Acorn going to pick up 1 kill, or pick up an assist on 1. But Mike Fullerton and Nightwing are the objective focuses for LSJ. Mike's going to go down on this one. Nightwing takes damage off to the back. Mike's not going to be on this pod anytime soon. Nightwing trying to get a partner spawn, but he has to pick up a kill here on Broken Wing. Mike going to actually get a partner spawn now, and with a 1-on-3, LSJ looks in really good position to be able to get the touch here, and Mike's going to get the claim, though Cookie Monster takes him down. There's a trade of players, and pod is currently in LSJ's possession. I'll make sure you get invited to the last game, if there is one, but it's looking very possible. Mike Fullerton.
I messaged Cookie and Mike, so I guess they just don't care. Just kidding.
Yeah. It was, maybe they forgot.
You know, these guys are probably been trying to do this for like the last 3 days, so I don't blame them.
Or,
it's fine.
I don't know, did you get an invite at all? Or did it just not?
No.
Okay. Oh well. Mike's going to actually go down. This might be the first pot of the map over to Unfinished Business. It's going to come down to Faptos in a little bit of a 1-on-3 here. He's going to sneak around to the side. Not enough time. It was probably very close. But that's the first pod over to Unfinished Business. Unfinished Business starting a little bit of a comeback. 4-1, but they're going to need a lot more.
You guys ready for the biggest comeback?
It's going to take a lot. They're going to need to get a bunch of pods really quick, but a double proxy from Blake going to start that. Alright. Now a little bit of a spectator bug. Thank you, Dice. I have no clue when this pod is actually going to be taken, because the overhead is not there. So, we have no clue when this pod's going to be taken, but it currently is over to Unfinished Business, and whenever it says either 2 or 5 pods scored, I'll know who took it. So thank you, Dice. Please fix. Oh yeah, also, every player's name is also currently... Okay, I fixed it. I just had to hop on someone. So now I can see the entire overlay again. Mike Fullerton going to get a kill there. Acer going to try and bowcast him, but not enough. Blake, all he has to do is get a touch here. He should pod over to unfinished business. This is the first pod that's starting to look like it's going to go a lot back and forth consistently. But right now, unfinished business actually with a couple clutch kills to be able to secure. Acerola going to get into a little bit of a 1-on-3 situation. He'll retreat out of there. Acer and Mike going to just annihilate Blake. Cookie Monster takes down Mike, so now this is a 3-on-3 with a blaster cannon off to the side. A member of LSJ is going to have to hop on now, and Faptos going to get on. A kill from Nightwing saves Faptos' back, and that allows the touch. So great play there from those two players to be able to get a secure. Now that was a last-second touch, and that went over to LSJ to keep this pod alive and keep the dreams of Map 3 going. So Faptos is going to get taken down. Blake, not quick enough was Acer on the blaster cannon before Blake gets the touch. But LSJ is wasting a ton of time now on the remaining clock. There's only 4 minutes, 40 seconds left in this map, and unfinished business being down 3 pods. This is really putting them in a pinch. Faptos going to not get a touch here. Broken Inkhorn picks up a double kill. Now it's a 3v1, 4v1 now. And LSJ, all 4 members there. Great partner spawning to be able to get on right on the pod. As a second pod does drop. Now last time that there were 2 pods that dropped, it favored unfinished business actually, because LSJ was so unorganized on what happens when 2 pods drop, who defends, who does what. But this time, both pods being so close together, I feel this may favor LSJ, but I would probably just focus in on the 1 pod, as that's going to be game right there. Acer picks up a nice double kill, and that's going to be map 2 going over to LSJ. Again, nice scores coming out of the side of LSJ, and they really, they put a little bit more map focus on the pod, and they were able to come up.
What I was able to see, I think LSJ was able to just hold the pods down. Unfinished business, they were able to get first pod caps most of the time, because they were able to just quickly get around the map because it's such a short map. But I just don't think they were able to hold it long enough until LSJ was able to get in there and push in.
Yeah. Alright, I got to practice my play-by-play. All good.
You did pretty good. Not gonna lie.
Oh. Happens. Hopefully you get invited to this next one. Luckily at least I got invited in, so I was at least able to show what was going on. There were some streams in the past where, oh my god, okay, well, they have Goas on loaded in, so if someone leaves, then maybe you'll get in here. I'm going to assume that they're going to just say screw it and have this map go through, which means you can be here for the, it's so dumb, you can be here for the moral support, I guess. But Cookie Monster did kill himself, so I don't know if they're doing a restart or what. He respawned in. And it looks like we're going on this. So, thank you for all your hard work. Curl Day on map 1.
Glad I could be a part of it.
Alright, so unfinished business gets
Good luck!
Unfinished business gets the first touch, and Curl Day has left me. Alright. Alright. So unfinished business with a couple nice kills early to force LSJ off the pod. though Acerola going to sneak on. No, Blake's going to get him with the bowcaster, so good play from Blake right there. Mike's going to retreat. He does pick up one with the nade, and Blake gets shot from behind from Nightwing. So if that's communicated, all 4 members of Unfinished Business are going to get a long spawn. Mike's going to jump on, get the easy touch right there, while the rest of LSJ is going to go pretty even in a 3 versus 4. It's just Dark Knight versus Nightwing now. Nightwing's going to be able to get the secure and pod control over to LSJ. Mike Fullerton going to get a partner spawn on, as well as the remaining members of LSJ there. Mike's going to be in a little bit of a one-on-one. He, with assistance, is able to take down Blake, and Mike off to the side fighting Broken Acorn is going to just retreat onto pod. Very good awareness there from him to be able to retreat on pod. The rest of his team didn't quite have that same awareness, and Unfinished Business is going to get a retouch, and the Deoxys from Cookie Monster going to take down Mike there. Thaptos is looking to be able to get on the pod now. Looks like he's going to run around it, get a nice touch, and then he's going to retreat, trying to get on the crawler, but he does actually kill himself with his own nade there, unfortunately. Broken Acorn going to be able to get the pod, and he goes down to one of Mike's nades. I guess Broken Acorn hadn't seen it. But 4 members now for LSJ around the pod. They're going to get the nice touch, and not be able to pick up a couple kills. Most of actually all of Unfinished Business is alive right now. Only a nade is stopping Broken Acorn from claiming, which Mike is able to hit there. Nice secure from Mike. The rest of LSJ kind of off pod, all 3 members there, and Blake's able to sneak in yet again. So we're seeing a common mistake out of LSJ here, where Mike is on pod. Mike has the prioritization correct and down. It's just no one else from LSJ is around the pod to be able to adapt if Mike goes down. And that's cost LSJ a couple pod claims. Only in a couple situations they even lost the pod because of it. But now LSJ's focus needs to be right on this pod. Mike in a one-on-one is going to be able to get the claim and the kill actually on Blake. But LSJ could have had this first pod easily if just one more member of LSJ was around it. It looks like this is actually going to be a trade there. Nightwing is going to pick up 1, and they're going to stop Unfinished Business 50-second claim. But now Thaptos and Mike and other members of LSJ need to get right on this pod again if they want to secure it. And it looks like Blake's going to not get the claim. Thaptos there with a nice kill. And now, as I was hoping LSJ would do earlier, or what they should have been doing earlier, is now they have 50 full seconds. They still have about half that time, so they still have 25 seconds to be able to get on this newer pod and get a touch. So still plenty of time on this new pod. It is a 50-second touch. Almost twice as long as every subsequent pod touch after that. So if LSJ can just win one gunfight here, which they clear out Unfinished Business, this is an easy touch for LSJ. Unfinished Business, as I was kind of mentioning before, actually going to get long spawns. Myself and Curl Day had mentioned before. It's that all of Unfinished Business is going to get these long spawns, and LSJ, this is what they want, because they've been playing off pod, and their gun skill has actually been a little bit superior to Unfinished Business. These long spawns are really going to favor LSJ, but Blake's going to pick up a kill. Mike's not going to be able to get the claim, and we're looking at another 30-second touch, though it was a good retouch there from Unfinished Business to be able to get in better position. And now Nightwing, not waiting for the partner spawn, actually made him retreat all the way back. And now LSJ probably will be looking at really bad spawns because both Nightwing and Mike Fullerton going down. So this is going to be a one-on-one between Thaptos and Cookie Monster here, but on the backside, Acer's actually going to pick up one. He's going to pick up probably another there. Thaptos going down, just not enough focus there from LSJ. Acer's bowcaster, just not enough to be able to get the claim. Mike Fullerton going to hesitate for a second. I was believing it'd be a partner spawn, but his partner was alive, so he hesitated a little bit there for a second. He's actually not going to pick up Broken Acorn, but both Dark Knight and Broken Acorn are low, and Thaptos going to be able to, or Nightwing, apologies, going to be able to get the claim there. Blake going low is going to pick up Thaptos. Cookie Monster, and 3 members of Unfinished Business flanking around the backside. LSJ is going to come meet them there, and they all go down, but LSJ in good positioning. Again, Nightwing maybe should have waited to let that partner spawn happen, but the rest of LSJ going to bail them out there and be able to get the pod taken, though Unfinished Business is going to pick up all the power-ups on that pod, so that's something to keep in note for the next pod. But LSJ, again, with the secure, they got it just in time, but that's all the time they needed. Broken Acorn and the rest of Unfinished Business now set up on the pod. They have an infantry turret looking in that direction, and all 4 members of LSJ going to come from the one side towards the center of the map. Good roll there, actually, to be able to get 1 kill. I believe that was Faptos, but he's going to get taken down by Blake, who goes low. I believe Blake's flashed. Could be wrong. Maybe not. But LSJ going to need to start making moves here, and Blake actually going to pick up a double kill. 3 members of LSJ down. Mike's going to allow the partner spawn. This is a 2 versus 4. Mike needs to get in here real quick if they want anything to happen. Faptos coming in off to the side. Again, another 2 versus 4, but someone needs to jump on from LSJ, and all of LSJ is going to go down there, so that pod should go over to Unfinished Business. This is a 2-1 map score with 7:50 left in the game. Good recovery there from Unfinished Business. You definitely don't want to go down 0-3, especially on a map like this, where if you get stuck with a pod like the one in the caves, it's really hard to break. There's a couple really hard pods to break here. That going down 0-3 really puts you in a bad situation if you don't get to that cave pod first, or a pod like that. So good job there to keep it close, keep it even, and now 1 pod is anybody's game at all times. So good plays there. But 3 members there from Unfinished Business on the crawler. Cookie Monster kind of sneaking in. It looks like there's an infantry turret, but again, actually I was going to say again, no one from LSJ positioned correctly. But Mike Fullerton off to the side, able to get 1. A couple members low from LSJ, but that doesn't mean much because the 2 members that are at 1 HP able to get the secure on the kill, and they're going to actually take this pod up to a 3-1 score. The orbital coming in way too late for Unfinished Business, but that might be what they need to pick up a couple power-ups. Mike actually going to be able to get 1 of the power-ups, and Unfinished Business is looking. Unfinished Business stole 1 as well, looking to leaving the 3rd one up to whoever just happens to stop by. But that's the action continuing here. Darth Faptos going to be able to not get the touch here. All of LSJ, I believe, most of LSJ gets taken down. Acer going in way too early with the bowcaster there. He's going to go down. Fullerton is going to pick up 1 kill, and the nade's actually going to take him down. So all 4 members of Unfinished Business on the pod, a couple members of LSJ with long spawns. I believe that, again, this is a 50-second touch, though, so plenty of time for LSJ to get on. They just shouldn't be going in 1 at a time, though a nice spawn from Acer actually going to be able to secure. And a good touch as well, Blake going too low from the previous engagement to be able to secure. And LSJ in control, with a couple members of Unfinished Business jumping up, though forced to retreat. Bowcaster going in there from Unfinished Business. They pick up 1 kill, but a couple members looking the wrong direction. Faptos not looking on pod. This is now a 1-on-1 between Faptos and Broken. And Broken's going down there, so Faptos again in control. Dark Knight going to be able to finish the kill on Faptos and get the claim to keep them in this game. That was a huge play there from Dark Knight to be able to get that secure and that touch. Alright, so Acer going down to a really troll nade from Dark Knight. Fullerton going down as well. Both remaining members of LSJ should be waiting for a spawn here, or at least Nightwing and Mike Fullerton. Nightwing's going down. Orbital Strike on is actually going to force a bunch of members away. Maybe not communicated as correctly as it could, because it did force them away, but they're actually going to get the touch on that pod, or the secure on that pod. So again, keeping it within 1. And neither side's getting that cave pod. So this is a really good chance here for both sides actually, Unfinished Business to be able to get this into a tie game where next pod won't necessarily matter, and LSJ to be able to get a really nice lead going into a more troll pod, possibly the one by the X-Wing, possibly the one in caves. Both those are really hard to break. So that would put LSJ in a good spot if they get this. Cookie Monster going to want to fight off to the side, though a couple members of LSJ still around. Most are actually going to get killed, though. Dark Knight 2 in the back, able to get a secure. And this pod looks like it's going to go over to Unfinished Business, so this is probably going to be a 3-3 score going into the last 3.5 of this game. So good job there from Unfinished Business. And LSJ, they need to know they're not getting the pod here, or any of the power-ups. So they probably want to set up for this cave pod, and whoever gets in there first is usually the team to, whoever gets in there and set up is usually the team to get it. And this is going to be a 2-on-3 coming in for LSJ. Smart Rocket as well. So this is, look at Mike Fullerton with a quick kill there, though he does get taken down. The rest of LSJ is in, and Mike Fullerton going to get a nice partner spawn. So an R5 droid does get placed in. That might be a problem on the backside, but Fullerton's actually going to focus that down quickly. So now LSJ, really good control of this pod, and they're holding the rest of Unfinished Business outside, picking up a couple really good kills, and just Unfinished Business not able to get all the way in with a couple nice kills. But 2 members of LSJ going to go down there. This is now a 2-on-2. Both strategically, though, both members of LSJ going down were able to get their partner spawns, and the rest of Unfinished Business actually retreats to be able to regenerate health. So it looks like they're going to make one final push here. They're all going down really quick just because of the length of that. All 4 members of Unfinished Business go down, and this is a 4-3 lead for LSJ going into the match point pod, which is going to be on the far side of the map. So still anyone's game right here. However, the last pod is one of those pods that's really hard to break. So if Unfinished Business is able to get the claim here real quick, it's going to go into that last pod. LSJ here, they can get the win, obviously, but another pod will not drop if this goes back and forth, so we may have to replay this map if Unfinished Business gets the secure here. Blake actually going to go down to an orbital in the back, but a nice double nade from Broken Acorn is going to force the long spawns from LSJ. 50 seconds on this pod originally. We're down to about halfway, so we're looking at 25 seconds left on the spawn. Very doable for LSJ. They just have 1, maybe 2 attempts at this. Dark Knight actually going to pick up a really nice kill on Faptos there. But Acerola off to the side going to just get him a respawn, though he goes down to a nade from Dark Knight. It's Dark Knight just there with the outplays. Now a couple seconds left. They just need to hop on. This is going to be a 4 versus 2. And Faptos not able to get the touch. This is going to a final pod. And the final pod is going to be the X-Wing pod, which comes down to if a team can break in. And this is a hard pod to break. So we will have a winner here. It's just a matter of who gets in, who gets set up. And right now it's looking like it might be LSJ. With 3-4 members going down from Unfinished Business, though partner spawns are going to keep this alive. This is getting really close here for both teams. LSJ going to get the touch, but Unfinished Business is going to be able to jump in and break the defenses. So Nightwing going to miss his Smart Rocket. This is now Faptos going to win a 1-on-1 there, but he still has 1 more to win. Cookie Monster going to get the touch, but Faptos still full HP. He's going to retreat to the back. Currently, right now, this is a 30-second touch now for Unfinished Business. Faptos going down. Acerola on the... actually jetpacks away from the pod. Nightwing and Mike, all that's left here, and they're partners, so this is going to be a long spawn for the remaining members of LSJ. Mike Fullerton's by himself here. He's going to try and fight this blaster cannon head on, but the other members of Unfinished Business are going to collapse in the back. This is looking really risky now for LSJ. They need to get in quickly. Unfinished Business has a really nice setup, including that blaster cannon. 2 members with long spawn, the other 2 dead. This is 5-4 over to Unfinished Business for the win. Alright, so good game to both teams there. Those were really close games. And Unfinished Business just able to come away with the win. So congratulations to Unfinished Business for moving on. I believe there's one match tomorrow for anyone who may want to watch. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, YouTube, and on our site for any more info. Anyway, thanks everyone for watching, and we'll see you guys later.